In this video, we're going to talk about how to use typography in Photoshop. So let's get started. And as you can see, we have this white canvas, and we're going to select the text tool. Now, if we hold the left mouse button, you're going to be able to see that we have a few different options. The vast majority of times, you're going to use the horizontal type tool, which is going to add type horizontally. But we also have some other tools like the vertical type tool and also the vertical type mask and horizontal type mask, which we're going to explore in another series. So for the time being, we're simply going to select the horizontal type tool, and we're going to click over here. And as you can see, we have this lorem ipsum text right away. We can start typing whatever we want. So for example, this is a headline, and if we want to select text, we can easily do that. And as you can see, it's quite small, so in order to make our lives easier, we're going to increase the font size. And as you can see, we have some increments that we can choose from, but you can also increase the number using the keyboard arrows. And if we wanted to move it around, simply use the move tool as the layer is selected, and you're going to be able to move the text as well. Now, if you use the transform tool by using Command plus T or Control T, you're going to be able to scale it down. And as I hold Shift, I'm going to be able to maintain the ratio. However, one of the issue of doing text transformations this way when it comes to the font size is that most of the times you're going to occur with decimal numbers, so you're not going to be with rounded ones. So let's just make it 96, and let's explore the main area when it comes to typography options, which is this character section. So over here, you're going to be able to sort and find any type of font. Now, as I'm on a bigger screen, I'm going to show you exactly what I'm seeing by resizing the window. And you can see that we have the full list of fonts. And as I hover over the individual fonts, I'm going to be able to see a live preview of what that font look like in the file itself. I can also quickly start typing for a font in order to search through all of the fonts that I have with that particular text. So I'm going to use this one right here, Latte Bold, and we're going to basically we can change the font weight right here. Now, it really depends on the font that you have. Some fonts have multiple weights, other ones have single weights. So this really depends on the font, but if you want to make it lighter or medium or bold, and the font family has those options, this is where you would make that call. And over here we have a few more options. The very first one is to set the leading, which is essentially the distance between one line and another. And if I double click on the text itself, so I select this part and I click on enter, you're going to be able to see that the two sentences or the two texts are essentially very close to each other. So I'm just going to select all of them and increase the leading. As you can see, I can basically make this two sections breathe more. This is really useful, especially if you have paragraph text and you're working on any large copy format. Now, on top of that, another thing to keep in mind is the tracking, which is essentially going to set distance between one letter and another. And as you can see, we can easily adjust this by using this option right here. You can also set the kerning between two characters, which is essentially the spacing between letters or characters in a piece of text to be printed. Now, You also want to keep in mind that all of the regular and default options are going to be available for text, such as the transform tool. And on top of that, you're going to be able to adjust even more options right here. So for example, if you want to center the text or right align it, you can do it directly from here. As you can see, as we adjusted these options quite a bit, this is a little bit harder to do, but or actually harder to see. But if we double click over here and we try this again, you can see how the text is basically following the different alignments. And on top of that, if you want to change the color, simply go over here and you can select it directly from this part. Now, I also want to show you another option which we discovered previously in the video, which is the vertical type tool. So the vertical type tool, as you might assume, is essentially the same as the horizontal, with the characteristic that the text is aligned in the y-axis, and that is the vertical axis. So all the options pretty much the same. You can write anything that you want, but the text is going to be aligned around this vertical axis. And as a very last thing, let's go back to the horizontal type tool, and I want to show you how to wrap text around a particular shape. And essentially the way that you do it is you select the text and you go over here where there is this icon, which is create warped text. The moment you click on it, you're going to be able to see this dialog box, and you can select all sorts of different shapes and basically behaviors, warp behaviors for the text, so that you can basically wrap it around any particular shape that you want to create. And of course, you can adjust all of these. So this is quite flexible. There's also other ways to wrap text around any particular shape, and even if you have a specific one, but we're going to explore that in a future series. So this is pretty much it when it comes to typography in Photoshop. Now let's move on to the very next video.